Will, Andrew, season 2. Can you believe it? We made it. Another season.
We made it, and just like everybody's favorite TV show, we didn't get canned after the first season.
We're back.
So we're back.
Not only are we back, we're back with some new digs.
Yeah, for those that haven't been at CMC, we've upgraded. We're at the Tufting University now instead of Zach's dingy office. So.
Hey.
So
at least it was clean. Unlike yours. Have you seen Will's desk?
If you've only
That's
been
true.
a listener and not
It's
a
'cause I'm
watcher,
busy.
this is a good excuse
Yeah,
to be
I was
going
to bring that up. That's a great point, Andrew. If your Spotify platform, Apple Music, does that have video? I don't know. But if your podcast platform allows for video, if there's ever a time to look at our faces, now's the time. Just check out the digs, check out our new spot, then you can go back to audio only.
And always hit the noti bell.
Well, that's coming later. We can go ahead and get that out of the way. I was also kind of proud that during our break between season 1 and season 2, I had multiple people ask me when we're coming back. I won't say how many. Wait, time out. I won't say how many people, but I will say it was more than one.
For all the haters that said we didn't have any listeners.
Yeah, and I will say it was more than one, and some of them weren't even in the U.S.
Hey.
So, global outreach.
Worldwide impact.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So, exciting new season ahead. Some different topics to discuss. Quite interestingly, though, Will, we've had some news happening within CMC, some exciting times, and we have a new guest, but yet the first one to come back to the pod. So we have our first returning guest.
Yeah. I guess it is. First returning guest.
Yeah, so we have our first returning guest to discuss the new things happening at CMC. Greg Pawson, CEO of the Card-Monroe Group. Welcome back.
Well, thanks, guys. It's good to be here. Can't believe it's been over a year, I guess, maybe more than that. When was the last time we got together?
I think it was.
Yeah,
talking about
Over a year, I think.
Yeah,
different growth strategies. And as I was joking with somebody, I said, yeah, we're going to be doing a new episode, and Greg's trying to get as many branches of CMC as he cheers for sports teams.
Here we go again.
Here we go. That joke
Since you're a repeat guest, I had to repeat the joke.
that joke does never get old.
That's true.
I mean, to be fair.
That's true.
I'm surprised you just have a blue shirt on today, to be honest.
I appreciate the invite back. You guys, to your point, I can't believe how many different people have said, hey, I've heard you talking on Tuft Talk that time and whatnot. So you're reaching some big audiences.
Yeah, you even impressed your kids, you said. With
That's
your
right.
Podcast.
That's right. I didn't even force them to watch it either, but they did.
So for Greg's third episode, he's got to start wearing a different brand from every division on your next time we put you on video. So
I'll give it a shot.
there we go. But no, we're like Zach mentioned, we're excited about the different directions that we're growing CMC, and wanted to bring you back on to talk about those. The latest being, I think we talked about CMA and CMM last time we were on here with you, and then obviously CMC, the kind of the heart and soul of what we do. But the new branch, Card-Monroe Services, CMS, for all those out there that has seen the branding, just want to talk about that and give us some thoughts on your ideas behind that and how that kind of started.
Yeah, just diversification as a whole. So
Yeah.
the CMG group and how we've moved through that.
Sure. Well, certainly there's a lot of acronyms there you just threw out.
Indeed.
But the whole idea here is we are a Card-Monroe Group, and we're looking to diversify what we're doing, but really we're still staying in our lane. We know what we do well. We're industrial, we're tufting, we're in manufacturing in that space, and we're gonna stay there. But we want to make sure we're adding more offerings for our customers. We want to do what we do best. We want to keep true to our values and treating people and partners and customers right. And then we want to add more value to those customers by giving more offerings. And that's what we're looking to do. We continually look in the market and see, we're already inside a customer's plant. What other things can we do? So we went to automation, right? That's a big piece that everyone's looking to do these days. We're in manufacturing, so we're not just only manufacturing our tufting machines, but now we're manufacturing electrical components. We're awesome at machining capabilities, fabrication capabilities. So why not start looking at offering third-party services in that area as well? And obviously, we've been in the services business for a long time, in our customers' plants, installing and repairing and taking care of our equipment. So why not offer additional services, and that's the CMS side of things. Card-Monroe Services is we're providing industrial services that underneath our customers' roof, right? So we're already in there doing the tufting side. Well, now we're looking to expand that into what we call allied services, and then our material handling services. So think fork trucks on the material handling side, the forklifts, we're going to service those, we're going to rent those. We're already doing that for a number of our customers. And then on the allied services, that's things like dock and door. That's the safety equipment around that dock. That's overhead cranes. Those types of things that are the equipment that our customers are using as well. That we'll be able to provide the services, the rental and the servicing for those.
Yeah, just so everybody's clear, we now have rebranded as we have Card-Monroe Group, which is the parent company, and the acronyms that Greg was talking about. We have Card-Monroe Services (CMS), CMM, which is Card-Monroe Manufacturing, CMA, which is Card-Monroe Automation, and then last but not least, we have CMC, Card-Monroe Corp, which is what we've always been. Yeah. So that's kind of the acronyms we were alluding to, and just so everybody kind of has, if you haven't talked to us lately, that's kind of where we're at as a company, just to make that clear.
Yeah, but we're one group.
Right.
Just know that we do have different divisions, if you want to say that, or business units focused on whether the specific services, but we're all the same group. So you need something, you can call anybody at any part of the Card-Monroe Group, and we're all the same company, the same family. We're just focused now on some specific offerings and equipment across that group.
And I've been really pleasantly surprised by the amount of our customers that we're going around talking about our CMS group in particularly, just the receptiveness of our current customer base, the tufting customer base, to those services. Like one of our big tufting customers said, well, we all have dock and doors. So it was just one of those things we were able to quickly roll into and start providing as a service. We're already set up vendor. They trust us. And so I've just been really pleasantly surprised with just the services that we do offer, how quickly we're able to approach that with our customer base and for them to grasp on to what we're trying to do and just be that continued partner to them, where we're continuing to come alongside whatever needs they may have and whatever that may look like. So that's been good to see. What kind of led, Greg, backing up a little bit to the industrial services? Why that?
Well, again, we've been doing it for 46 years.
On the tufting machinery side.
Yeah, the tufting side. And it's just great business. That's where you're really in your customer's plant. That's where you're building the relationships. That's where you're taking care of them. That's the closest part of the business, is when you're in their plant and doing what they need you to do. So why not expand on that relationship that we have? And services businesses are great. We hear from our customers all the time that it'd be great if we could do more. That's getting harder and harder to find these days. In this market that we're going into, the material handling, the allied equipment that I mentioned, there's a lot of customers that are like, man, I'm not getting the value from what I'm paying for anymore. And so we see an opportunity there to go after it, because our customers need it and we know we can do it well. And so we're going in with our same values as always. And we're coming in competitive too. We want the business. We're already have the relationships, so let's just add services on. So we're coming in competitive. But what's really been nice is the way we're doing it. We're able to cherry pick the talent, right? So we're not just starting this internally with our own people.
Right.
We're going and we're cherry picking the experts in the industry that have that reputation that we're looking for, that have customers that love to work with them, that literally follow them where they go because of how they treat them. So we're able to find the people that are that match our values and that are long-lasting legacy of taking care of customers and doing things right, and bring them in at the right pace. So we're adding more and more, each month as we take on more and more business. And Evan Gibson, who's the VP of Industrial Services, we brought him in the end of last year. So he comes with over 20 years of experience in the industrial services market. He was in automotive market, then he was here locally in Chattanooga at Kenco and Toyota in the fork truck business, and so it comes with a ton of experience and a ton of his reputation is just second to none in the industry because of his servant heart that he has. And so he fits really well with who we are. And then, of course, he comes with the technicians and the sales folks and the infrastructure behind it because everyone wants to stay working with him. So it's a great hire to bring Evan on. He's doing exactly what we're looking to do, and we're continually growing that business and bringing more and more people on. But the right type of people because we can do it at the right pace.
One piece that you brought up a little bit ago, and I'm glad you did, that you highlighted is, we've started this new CMS division, and with it comes a lot of new exciting offerings to our customer base. But one key piece is that our traditional tufting service rolls up within that CMS division. And I think it's a really important piece for us as we continue to move into the future and bringing Evan in, who has that service experience and that service knowledge to continue to make us more professional and better how we go about those tufting services, whether it be offerings such as preventive maintenance or tufting machine assessments. We've seen within our customer base, it's harder to find that talent that has that tufting experience, and when they do find it, it's more costly to them. So there's even more avenues for us to go about coming alongside our customer and making them better with this industrial services.
For sure.
Within the tufting side.
For sure. What's not changing is our expertise, the way we treat customers, our values that we've always done. But yeah, how do we use other industry expertise and experience and knowledge to help professionalize, whether that's, with the commercially, with the sort of different contracts we can put in place, whether that's IT wise, the technology we can bring in to help. So all those things, how do we continue to professionalize and advance the tufting services group at the same time?
And I think it's been well received. Kind of going back to what you were talking about too, Zach, is we've gone to a lot of shows since the last season ended,
yeah.
And not only are we getting questions about tufting and our tufting technology, but it's all these new divisions and services being one of those. Of we have the luxury of before we were just selling basically from the creel to the inspection frame, but we also market our machines from anywhere from people on the floor all the way up to CEOs of companies. So we've built a lot of relationships throughout our time in this industry. And at going to these shows, we're getting more and more people that we met a long time ago that we didn't have anything to offer them other than tufting machines, but they've been very interested in these additional services and expertise that we're bringing in, and Evan's team is bringing in. So I'm excited about that. It gives us a whole different, it really makes the conversation more robust with our customers. Of not only how do we help you tufting, but we're strengthening that partnership in other ways.
Yeah, and as those conversations develop, how do we holistically take care of you? Right. It's not going to be overnight. Everyone's going to go, oh, this is what we need. But eventually, as we prove these things out and we have things in place, like why not just go, hey, I'm just going to go to Card-Monroe for all these things because they're just going to take care of it. Commercially, it makes more sense. It's easier, to as far as communication. And so that's the vision. That's where we want to get to.
Yeah, one other area that falls up within the CMS group is our OEM parts area. And I think it's also been good for us to have that focus separated out and into that services division. And we've seen how customers now are seeing the benefits of buying OEM parts for their machine efficiencies, their uptimes. We're hearing those kind of stories over and over again. So that's another key area that we're seeing the benefits of just some focus, but also customers, okay, yes, I want to go back to OEM. The expertise that thought that one way may have been better, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but we're going to try the OEM again, and now they're experiencing the benefits.
They see that value of the
Yes.
OEM
And how do we
parts.
make it a win-win for both of us, whether
Yeah.
it's a OEM parts contract or anything like that? I think people are starting to open that up to, I think it's a win-win for both of us to go back to that approach.
Yeah.
So.
Look, the industry is changing. We got to be creative. We got to change with it. And again, bring in the values and everything, the expertise, everything that we've always had. But how do we become a little more flexible, a little more creative to help the customer more?
Right. Switching gears to another division we've alluded to on this podcast before, but it's become its own division now, is CMM, so Card-Monroe Manufacturing. Speak a little about what is that? What exactly is Card-Monroe Manufacturing? Hasn't CMC always been a manufacturer?
And how it kind of came to be a little bit. So.
Yeah. Yes, we've always been an OEM manufacturer. CMM is more around the electrical component manufacturing. So we do design, build, we do build to print, we do custom panels, control panels, we do volume panels. So we have different lines set up here in Hickson and also down in Greenville, South Carolina, where we can accommodate a lot of different types of things. But the idea here is, first of all, where to come from. So it came with the automation group we bought a couple years ago.
I think it was probably the biggest surprise of that purchase, that just the robustness of the.
Yeah.
I don't think we realized what we were getting. We knew we were getting industrial automation.
Yeah.
But
Well, we knew we were getting the design creative side, because that was like huge companies, retailers that everyone knows, had a great relationship with us back then because of our creative design that we were able to come in and really improve things. What we didn't know was how we could expand it into volume because of Card-Monroe's capabilities and floor space and talent and everything that we had here. So that was a great surprise, if you want to call it that.
We've had from this big retailer, we've had their people within our facility just talking about how incredible we've done building these panels and just our expertise.
Exactly.
Just because of the legacy of being a manufacturer.
Yeah. And so, we bought the group that had this capability. They were doing the control panels for their own automation projects.
Mm-hmm.
Every automation project is going to have some sort of control panel. And then, Card-Monroe OEM always built their own control cabinets too for our machines. But then the synergies was how do we bring all that creativity they have, the capabilities that CMC has, and now the volume is incredible. Because there's just so much of this going on. So CMM is really focused on control panels. Think of all electrical components, right? So we can design and build any kind of electrical component, and then as well, we are an expert in machining. Our mechanical side, we have the best machine shop around. And so now, we've historically, that's always been focused on the OEM side. But now what we're looking to do is add shifts, add people, capabilities to provide third-party machining and fabrication through that Card-Monroe manufacturing as well.
Which, we've already, started doing a lot of. And the beauty about the capabilities here is we have two machines that a lot of customers have seen as they've come on a plant visit, that we're only people in the Southeast that can do this kind of big parts manufacturing in the Southeast. So it gives us an advantage to go out into the market and find different avenues. But back to, kind of what you're talking about with the hidden gem of the panel business was, what I was impressed by, and it really shows our talent that we have here at CMC, is how quickly a lot of our employees flip from building tufting machines to help getting that thing going. And just the manufacturing mindset and the talent we have here at CMC has almost been just as amazing of a hidden gem as bringing on the panel division. It's just how quickly we were able to get that up and going here at CMC and really get that going and deliver to the POs.
I think
that came in.
Speaks to what you were saying earlier. Like, yes, we have different divisions, but we're all one.
Absolutely.
Group.
Yep, you can step in and we think we've done well, but it's more than that. Like literally the flexibility and expertise of our team. The customers have literally asked us to step in to start manufacturing panels that they're in the middle of projects on because their current suppliers who've been doing this a long time couldn't keep up or couldn't keep the quality up, and they've asked us to step up, and we'll ramp up a line and be delivering panels with better quality quicker than the folks that have been building the project already. And so time and time again, these customers are coming back to us and giving us more and more POs. So it's really a testament to that talent you're talking about and the way we look to take care of our customers like we always have.
And just kind of, we talked about with Evan leading the CMS charge over there. Who's heading up, and kind of how's the structure on the CMM side?
Yeah, CMM is led by Jonathan Skullrood, so he's the VP of CMM. He splits his time between here in Hickson and also down in Greenville. So he's been with us about a year. He comes from a large OEM public company. Came over last year to come help us again grow, professionalize, and bring some outside industry expertise to the team.
Will, I know you get asked a lot. I do as well. Out in our industry, the tufting industry, a lot about CMA and how it's going and what we're doing. Everybody loves industrial automation these days for valid reasons. So, Greg, how about just touching a little bit on CMA? How's it going?
Yeah.
Just how we're continuing to not only offer automation solutions to the tufting industry, but beyond.
Yep. So automation team's doing great. It's growing as well, mostly headquartered out of Greenville, South Carolina. I think, I don't know the exact numbers, but we're about 2 to 3 times last year, this year, as far as the amount of projects we're doing and the dollar wise. So it's growing well. Industrial automation, everybody's looking to do that, to grow that. We're bringing on more and more customers, different customers that we've never had before, but then also retaining those key core customers that just like CMC has over the years, to do that repeat business because of how we do the projects. Yeah, we might make a mistake, but we bring it through to the end and make sure it's what they need at the end of the day. So great customer relationships, diversifying that customer base across the Southeast. That's really where we focus. Although if we're tight with a customer and they have a project in Texas or somewhere else, we're going to go with them.
Sure.
But we really do focus on the Southeast here. I would say in the flooring space, it's it's slower than other industries, not just for CMA, but I just think in general the flooring industry is at a slower pace of automating than a lot of the other industries that we're in. But we're seeing that pick up and the mindset change. And I think everybody knows that it needs to get there. Everybody's working on it. Everyone has a different strategy on how to get there, but they're trying to figure that out somewhat.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we've seen more engagement from the tufting or the flooring industry with our automation group here recently, more so than even early on. And I agree with you. There seems to be some momentum built around that. It's only going to continue as we move to the future because everybody's not going to have a choice but to incorporate automation to some degree. It'll look different for different companies, but you're going to have to implement it one way or another.
And I think it's just one of those two. It's a little slower, starting up. It's a new company coming in, kind of establishing your basis there, but also, as the needs continue to grow and we continue to see a need for automation in the space, and CMA is getting a lot more comfortable with the customers. Customers are understanding who they are and what they can provide. I think a lot of that early on was the expectations of what we can bring right away versus where we're at now. So I think that's definitely generating a lot more conversations as our automation side has understood the tufting needs as well.
Yeah, totally. And, Will and I have the pleasure of full-time serving within the CMC division, the core tufting division within the CMG group. And so we step in, just as we've said, we're all part of the CMG group, and we're all interconnected and helping each other out. And we've stepped in making automation connections and working through that. But
CMS connections.
Yeah, CMS, CMM, all the above. But Will, you want to give us just a quick update on the CMC division, how we're doing this year, things we're working on, kind of the industry as a whole?
Yeah. I think everybody listening to this understands the industry as a whole is not what it has been. And we keep waiting for that, that bump up to not just flat to steady, just to something different. But it seems like every time we get going, thinking everybody's talking positive, something else happens in the world that kind of slows things down. But a lot of positive talks in the shows we've been to this year. Turf still remains strong. Our Color Point sports machine has been well received in the industry.
If you haven't heard about it, go look at that episode in the podcast season 1.
And a lot of potential excitement around Hollow Needle that's getting out there in the industry a little bit more and giving new design capabilities, bringing some old technology into the modern day. So overall, I think while the industry is overall flat and our business is, very, very good for the industry conditions, I think there's a lot still out there on the horizon that we're hopefully 2027 makes that turn and we see a little bit more of an uptick.
Yep, some cautious optimism. And I think one thing, though, through it all, the CMC brand around the world continues to be strong.
Yep.
It continues to be the brand that everyone prefers. And we're not going to stop spending our time and our resources and our energy within that CMC division, developing new machinery, whether that's through fabric formations, efficiencies, power savings, whatever it may be. We're going to continue to pour into this industry and continue to help it evolve forward through our Tuft Machine offerings as we move forward. So, we are continuing to think through those things and trying to meet our customers where they currently are, but also continue to develop so that we're meeting them where they need to be in the future.
Yeah, if I would add a couple of points there, I think number one, I love to hear our new machines that go out there. Like Will's mentioned, there's not there's not as many new machines going out as there used to be, but there are still a number of new great new capabilities that are going out there. And what I'm hearing from the customers, this is the best machine we've ever had run. This is the most efficient. This is the fastest. Things like that. So that's really cool to hear that. When we do get those new machines out there, they're really received really well. And then the other thing I think is customers are still have a lot of work, a lot of product to make, and a lot of our machines and everyone's machines are 20, 25, 30 years old. That's something about Card-Monroe. Our machines are going to operate for a long time, but
even Charles-Monroe Company machines.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But there is obsolescence from those older machines coming on the electrical components that were used 20 plus years ago, and that's not something that you can just because the machine mechanically will run. Those are some things that you just can't do. So I think the obsolescence piece of a lot of equipment is a big, I don't know if you want to call it wave that's coming, but Card-Monroe is really looking at how do we creatively look at this with our customers as well, and aftermarket solutions and different ways to bundle these things together to help with this obsolescence issue that's coming up.
Yeah, and like you said plenty of times around here and even on this podcast is, we're trying to be more creative. And how do we come alongside our customer base and help them? And it's probably going to look different than it used to look because we're in different times now, but I still think there's a way in which it's a win-win for both our tufting customers and us as well.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking for is those conversations with the customers that we can be creative, we can be flexible. What kind of services you need? What does your fleet look like? How do we put all these things together to help you? Obviously it's a win-win for both of us. How do we take care of the customer, but work together on finding those solutions?
One thing I forgot to plug earlier, since we plugged a lot of stuff for all the other groups, is I'm excited about what we came out this year with our residential shifter and just the capabilities that's giving customers to not only, reduce changeover time, reduce the ergonomics, the risk of their employees changing old mechanical cams out. So with a push of a button, you can change your shift and really be creative in what you're doing on simple machines. So it's just things like that. What we're talking about is how there's not always going to be a color point. Yes, we want a color point 2.0. I think that'd be great for us and the industry, but it's little things that we come alongside of our customers and give them new capabilities, whether it's new technology and fabric formations or just, better throughput, better, just better operationally. So
well, I think, and that's the beauty of the structure that we've formed with these 4 business units. Again, one group, one Card-Monroe group, one family, right? We're all doing the same thing. People are helping each other out. But there's some focus. And so like Card-Monroe CMC, the innovation and doubling down on coming up with new developments and improvements of technologies and our digital platform and all these new things that are coming out, like we're doubling down on innovation because that's going to drive the industry as well. So just because we're adding these other divisions, there's focus, right. And nothing is taking away or deteriorating from someone else. It's only synergy because we're bringing in the experts for each of those groups, and each one is focused on where that group is going. But how do we work together to take care of our customer? Yeah,
like we're working on a development project now that on the CMC side that we would either probably not progress very efficiently or effectively, or we would have to outsource a portion of it. But now that we have CMA and they're so strong with controls that we're able to bring them in at the very beginning of the development instead of at some other point. And so just being able to utilize that resource that exists within our group to not only be more collaborative, but to help us bring a better product to the market.
And they bring that expertise an experience from other industries that
Exactly, yeah.
CMC wouldn't have seen, and our customers wouldn't have seen a lot of times either. So because they are in so many different industries and see so many different markets.
Right.
And that expertise, helps us at Card-Monroe too. Because I mean, how many times in this industry have we gone through something and it didn't work that time, but just a different mindset, a different focus, a different thought that they've used from a different industry. You never know what that can do for us. But at the heart of it, all these different groups have brought focus to how do we grow our relationships with our customers and continue to just grow that partnership with them, bringing different, not only tufting technology, but everything else that can be used in their plants.
Yeah, well, it goes back to our mission, which has been our mission statement for a long time and will always be. By developing and nurturing partnerships, we seek to bring industry-leading technology to the world, all to the glory of God. So there's 3 big pieces there. One is that partnerships. We've talked about it. We're going to treat people right. We're going to do the right thing for our employees, for our customers, for our vendors, for our community. We're always going to strive to do that. Do we make a mistake? I'm sure we will, and we'll say sorry and do it better next time. But that's the first piece, is that partnership. The second is the industry-leading technology. For a long time there was tufting technology. Now it's technology, which includes tufting technology, but it's all the other things too. So we are going to continue to lead our industries with technology, world-class, quality, cutting-edge innovation. That's what we're gonna do. And then the third piece is all to the glory of God. And so we just strive to be a place where people can use their God-given abilities, capabilities, gifts to be creative, to be productive, but to do it the right way. Again, through those core values, and that glorifies God by people doing those things in the right way. And so we're always going to do that. All 4 of the divisions fit into that mission statement, and they'll always be that way.
Absolutely. Well, I think that wraps us up for this first episode of season 2. Greg, thanks for joining us.
I'm honored to be on your first episode.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you
and
for
first
inviting me.
repeat customer.
Yeah.
Or
go.
repeat, not customer.
We're charging
We're charging you for our time.
Repeat guest.
Yeah.
For sure. Thanks, guys.
That he is. And just want to point out as well, so a cadence with season 2 here. We're hoping to launch a new episode once every month. So be on the lookout for that through your podcast channels. And Will, what do they need to do?
Always got to hit the noti bell.
Hit the noti bell so you don't miss the episode. Thanks for the time, everyone. See you on the next one.